Hey guys, how's it going? It's Janie over here at JaniesSweets. Welcome back to another Friday Fixes episode where you ask me okay questions and I do my best to answer them for you. Before we get started, I know I have a tiara on my head. My son put it on me and he was like, look mommy, you're a queen. So needless to say, this thing is not leaving my head. I'm going to sleep in it. I'll probably be buried in it. Yeah, it's not leaving my head anytime soon. So anyway, moving on, let's talk about the topic today. Now, there are two subjects that I want to touch base on. They were, I think, very important and I wanted to talk about them, but they weren't long enough, or I didn't have enough to talk about to make a video out of each of them. So although they're not really related, I'm gonna put them in the same video. The first one that we're going to be talking about is some different ways that you can elevate your business and really drive it home to your customers or justify to your customers the price that you're charging. Because a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us are doing custom cakes and we have a home bakery and we charge a pretty significant amount. But if you cannot justify that price to your customers, they might just think that, you know what, that person is just charging an obscene amount. But if they see what this is all going into, they might say, you know what, it's expensive, but it's worth it. So here are just a few things that I personally do and that I have also seen other people do and I'm going to implement in my business as well. The first thing, and that goes without saying, is to have a good product, right? Like, you're not going to charge an arm and a leg for really crappy, mediocre product. I've spoken about this before. You know, nowadays, it's 2021, about to be 2022. People expect grandiose, they expect wow, they expect beautiful, you know, like breathtaking cakes now. Like, you know, especially with access to social media, a lot of people are seeing what other people are ordering for their birthdays, and so they want to keep up with the Joneses. So they're gonna want to have you know, a good product. So things like making sure you have sharp edges, making sure that your structure is fine when you're stacking cakes, making sure that you know, you're covering your boards, making sure that, I don't know, your stuff are nice, cut and clean, and not only are they spectacular, but they also taste good. So just having a good product altogether to justify the price is going to definitely take you a long way. The next thing that I got, and I got this idea from the place where I'm working at right now. It is a law firm, and the person was telling me, he's like, yeah, we charge them X amount of money. It is pretty expensive. It's more expensive than what everybody else is charging in the market, but we kind of justify it by giving them a boutique experience, right? Like, you could go buy a belt anywhere, but if you go to like a boutique, they might charge you a couple $1,000s, and people are going to be willing to pay a couple of $1,000s. But why is that? You know, not only is the product itself really good, but also they have a good experience, you know, from the way they greet you at the door to the way that, you know, they're gonna be like, oh, you know, like, let me hang your coat. I don't know, I've never been to the high-end boutique. I don't know what they do there, but I am assuming that they treat you differently. In our case, what that might be is, you know, a phone call, making sure that, like, you know, everything is like exactly to their liking. If it's a bride, maybe you're gonna do the tasting a different way than most people do. Maybe, you know, offering them a way to order that most people aren't doing. Like, a lot of people, they're just ordering through, you know, their social media. And I've spoken about this before, how, you know, like, if you want to be taken seriously, try to avoid taking orders through social media. So interacting with the customer in a way that feels a little bit more custom and catered to them in a boutique feel can go a long way. With that comes a lot of professionalism. I've spoken about this before. Let's up our professionalism game, right? Customer service 101. Let's make sure we're answering our customers thoroughly. We're answering them on time, making sure that we're using professional language, no profanities. It doesn't matter if somebody pisses you off. You know, we're not cursing people out on our social medias, etc., etc. So making sure that you have good professionalism is going to elevate your business, and it's really going to set you apart from, honestly, a really good chunk of home bakers out there. The struggle that we face as home bakers is that people do not take us seriously because we're doing this from home. I have encountered this time and time again. So in order to combat that, you have to work twice as hard to get half of the respect and you know, I guess, accolades that your peers who maybe have a brick and mortar store will have. Now the next thing is going to be mind your social media presence. Make sure you have a social media presence, but you also have to make sure that it is done correctly. And this is where we're going to go into the second part of today's video. Is I'm going to talk about a few do's and don'ts when it comes to having a professional social media, specifically when it comes to being a home baker. Okay, so unless you're living under a rock, if you're a human in 2021, chances are you most likely have heard of, know someone who has. Like, social media is just the thing, and it's important that your business has one as well. Now, I'm going to talk about a couple of do's and don'ts when it comes to your social media. Now, it doesn't matter if you have a big following or a little following. I really think that if it is a professional page, that you should, you know, at a minimum, try to do certain things and try not to do certain things. And here they are. Do have a way for people to contact you, whether that's a phone number, a email address, a website, another social media, whatever it is that people can contact you. Do explain it to them. Put that at the forefront of your page, because a lot of times if people don't know how they can order, how are they going to order, right? You need to put it in front of them. If you have a website, make sure you have something in big bold that says order here. If you have a social media, like a Instagram right now, what we have is that you have like a little description at the top. So put that there. To order, please visit my website, or to order, please DM me. However you want people to order, however you want them to contact you, put that there so that it's in their face and they're able to see it. On that note, if you do not have a brick and mortar store, if you are operating out of your home, do not disclose your address on your social media site or on your website. Just don't do it. I've spoken about this in a different video. I've spoken about the reasons why you should not do this. There's so many safety reasons. Specifically, I'm remembering a specific story that happened to you know, a young lady. So just don't do it. Don't put your actual physical address on there, okay? It's just not, it's not safe. Other things that you should have on there are nice pictures, pictures that are recent. Make sure that you're deleting any old, you know, bad quality pictures that are on there. In the beginning, that's okay, but as your skills are progressing or improving, make sure that you are taking nice pictures of different things that you can do and putting them up there. Remember, what you're putting up there is an advertisement for what you can do. You're not going to advertise the worst of the worst. Just because you made it doesn't mean it needs to go on there. This is not a gallery of like your memories. You can have something like that on your phone, but don't put it up there. Think of your social media as a billboard, you know, like you wouldn't pay to get a billboard of your crappy cakes, right, on the street. So don't think that you should do the same, or think that you should do the same thing for your social media. Speaking of pictures that you do not want to have up there are personal pictures. Like, it's okay to have a picture of yourself, and I'm gonna contradict myself when I talk about what I have on my personal social media. But I believe that it's okay to have a picture of yourself. It's okay to show your personality a little bit in there. If you enjoy other things other than baking, that's okay. But it needs to be done very, how can I say this? Like, you need to tread the waters like very carefully here. You don't want to put pictures of your kids' artwork, you know, like if your kid made a stupid bunny for Easter, like nobody cares. Nobody wants to see it. Like, people are not clicking on your social media to see that stuff. It's okay, like I said, around the holidays, if you want to put a picture of your family, these things like that, like pretty memorable, significant things that you want to share with your followers, it's okay to have on there. But you don't want any and every personal thing to be on there, especially the not so flattering ones. This may be a controversial one. You know, do this at your own risk if you feel like with friendship or you have that relationship. Like for example, this is where I would say I was gonna contradict myself. On my stories, you see a lot of random videos of my kids doing random stupid things, but that's just because I don't have a personal social media. I have my cake social media, and a lot of people follow me on there, and a lot of you guys have said that you don't mind seeing my kids, so that's why I have those videos on there. But I do have a separate page that's not for my teaching audience, and that's just for the people who are ordering cakes from me, and I only have cakes on there. I don't put any personal thing. The only personal thing that you see is that one picture of me holding a cake. So so that is that. That's my 2 cents on putting personal things on social media. Another thing is, do post pictures of upcoming events, upcoming sales, upcoming, I don't know, grand openings of something. If you have a new flavor going on, remember, your social media is free advertisement, right? If your customers follow you on your social media or are trying to, you know, get a feel for what you offer, you want them to have the full picture. So make sure you're posting about everything that you want them to know. And that goes without saying, try to avoid anything you don't want them to know. Speaking of things that you don't necessarily want to post on there, please try not to vent about other customers on your social media. You know, try to resist reposting memes about, you know, customers who are just doing horrible things, or try to resist doing that on your channel where you're trying to attract customers. It's not so much that you're, you know, putting up this facade, but you kind of are. You're putting your best foot forward. Would you ever want to go order something from someone where they're constantly bashing their customers? Like, they're like, you think I'm gonna sell you this cake for $3, like you must be out of your mind. Like, let's keep it out of their face, out of their way. It's okay to vent, maybe vent on your personal page, but not on that, you know, like this whole passive aggressive, you know, thing that we're doing on our social media really needs to stop. So I would really strongly suggest that you don't vent or talk badly, negatively about customers on that platform. I do want you to show some personality. I want you to express your views and opinions. If something is happening and you want to support that movement, go ahead and do that. However, keep it open-minded. You don't want to police people who have different opinions of you. You don't want to, or different opinions of the subject or of the whatever the thing is. You kind of want to make sure that you are being open-minded on the subject. If it is a controversial subject, I would honestly advise that you just stay away from it on your social media. However, if this is something that really is tugging at your heart and you feel like because you have a platform you would like to support it, keep it related to cakes. Maybe say, you know what, I'll give you a perfect example. Thanksgiving is a holiday that I really struggle with, only because as I got older, I started researching about it and researching its origins and where it, you know, how it got to where it is, to what we are celebrating nowadays. And it's really giving me a hard time you know, celebrating it. So I know a lot of people do like Thanksgiving sales and things like that. This is not something that I would participate in, but maybe if I wanted to talk about my passion for, you know, Native American or First Nation indigenous people, instead of going up there and being like, I'm not doing any Thanksgiving bake sales this year, because if you knew what the origination of Thanksgiving was, you wouldn't celebrate it either, and blah blah blah. Like, nobody's asking you to talk about all of that. You're not a political page, you're not a religious page, like you are just a cake page. So keep it about the cakes. And if you are going to post something controversial, understand that it is a controversial subject and you're gonna get some opposing views, and you need to respect those as well. So with all of that being said, that is all I have for today's video, you guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope it was beneficial to you. If you did like it, enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. It would mean a lot to me. So that is it for this that is it for today's video. I love you. I'll talk to you next time.